Renderware provides artists with a useful tool for previewing and testing game assets directly from within Maya. This tool is the Visualizer, and its main purpose is to show your artwork on whatever is the target platform. This becomes increasingly important when your project uses platform-specific shaders. Save your project in Renderware Studio and then return to Maya. Load the provided Maya file winery_prelit. This is the world that we will use in our game project. It consists of a single, bombed-out room containing the vats and barrels used in the production of wine. You should see the texture maps displayed in Maya when you press the 6 key. If you are not seeing the textures, you will need to make sure that the shaders are referencing correctly the texture files in the project's resource root folder. As long as the folder naming conventions were correctly followed in Lesson 1, there should be no problems. From Maya, you access the Visualizer using the buttons contained in the Renderware Visualizer shelf. Maya will create this shelf automatically when the Renderware Exporter plugin is first loaded. The shelf has a button for each potential target platform and also a button to access the Settings dialog. Click on the Settings dialog button to open the Renderware Visualizer Settings dialog. Enter the path to Renderware's root directory. This can be found in the root of your C drive and is called RW45. Maya uses this directory to locate tools such as the Asset Compiler and the Renderware Launcher, and the button next to the text field allows you to browse to the directory instead of typing it in. Enter the IP address of the target machine on which the Visualizer is to run. On this occasion, you just want to visualize the model on your PC, so enter localhost for the DX9 IP address. Click OK to save the settings and close the dialog. The settings will be saved between Maya sessions, so you should only need to enter them once. In the Visualizer shelf, click the button for the PC target. The Renderware Launcher executable runs and connects to the target Visualizer. The scene then appears on the target Visualizer, rendered from the same perspective as the current Maya camera position. The Renderware Visualizer Launcher window provides a range of options and settings for controlling the appearance of the visualizer. For example, the model you have loaded has vertex pre-lighting burned into it, but you can't really see that because it's washed out by the real-time lighting. To knock out the light so that you can view the pre-lights, deselect the ambient and directional light enablers in the Lighting Parameters panel. Immediately, you see the scene darken and the vertex colors show through. The Visualizer Settings panel contains a number of further options for altering visualization. For example, selecting Show Wireframe enables wireframe rendering. This can be handy when you're working with n-sided polygons or quads in Maya, as you can get immediate feedback on how they will be converted to triangles on export. Select Show Normals to view the vertex normals of your geometry. Again, this provides immediate feedback on how the normals will be rendered on any given target. You can compare with the original geometry by navigating around in Maya. Toggle Show Render Objects to hide the triangles from view and see only the wireframe and normals render. Clicking the Debug Line Color swatch opens a color picker that allows you to change the color of the wireframe and normal lines to something more sympathetic to what is being viewed. You can use the Background Color swatch to set the visualizer to a background color other than the default. With the Enable Background Gradient checkbox selected, clicking the Gradient Color swatch allows you to change the lower gradient color. Finally, selecting the Show Tri-Strips checkbox displays the current tri-stripping solution that has been applied to the mesh. The visualizer randomly applies a different color to each tri-strip, the purpose of which is to allow you to see how well the geometry is stripping. Renderware ships with several tri-stripping algorithms that in some cases can radically affect the quality of the result and the length of time taken to calculate a solution. the visualizer defaults to a quick and cheerful solution that should be fine in most cases. To disconnect from the visualizer, click the Disconnect button at the top right of the launcher panel. The status of the target resets to the listening condition, and you can now close down the target and the launcher. Just to recap, using the visualizer, we have temporarily exported our world to Renderware's RF3 format, previewed this on a target using the visualizer, explored it using the built-in navigation controls, and tweaked the visualizer default settings to suit our needs. When it views an asset from Maya, the visualizer creates a temporary file on disk. We now want to export a permanent file that we can add to our game database in the same way that we did with the test cube.